Suck cat, suck cats. Okay. So here we are. As promised, I previously, last review, talked about Coverdale and Page. How this album suffered because of its comparisons to Led Zeppelin, which were both fair and unfair, and amazing album. But a year after this one did not have the success they had hoped for. Instead of doubling down, releasing another album, instead of touring on it like crazy to really kind of get it out there, Jimmy Page goes and gets back together with Robert Plant. No John Paul Jones. They couldn't come to an agreement. They do, according to this was recorded from a live show. I think it's a mix of live show and studio. Myself, personally, just because some tracks actually sound live and other tracks sound studio. Like Robert Plant's voice specifically sounds live versus studio. And if you do enough recording, you know the difference. This is a mix of a variety of Zeppelin songs with a few new ones thrown in here as well. I gotta say that I actually prefer the newer ones on here over the Zeppelin songs. The Zeppelin songs are reworkings, reimaginings. They were done with a Turkish orchestra and a Persian string band or something like that. I don't remember. Should have kept all my notes handy for this one. There's an Egyptian ensemble and musicians in Marrakesh. That's what it says. Yeah, it says Marrakesh, Morocco, Snowdonia, Wales, and London, Albion. Okay. I'm going to get into the songs. I don't want to dwell on it too much. All right. So this is the track listing. We got Nobody's Fault But Mine, which is brilliant. Opens up the album perfectly. It really just kind of sounds like Zeppelin doing Nobody's Fault But Mine. If you have ever watched any of the Zeppelin concerts, some of them you can hear Zeppelin changes up the songs, plays with it a little bit, stuff like that. So they're not doing exactly the same as the album. It's kind of the same idea here with Nobody's Fault But Mine. Then you go on to Thank You, which is okay. Then you're into No Quarter, and it's really kind of wrong that No Quarter was used because John Paul Jones is not on this album, and No Quarter is really a John Paul Jones song at the end of the day. Friends, okay. So you got 4 decent Zeppelin songs in there. The problem is Nobody's Fault But Mine is the only one out of those 4 that really kind of has any real true blue energy to it. The other 3, and when I mean energy, I mean like uplifting, actually kind of get you going, actually, like really get you moving kind of thing. The rest of them just kind of have that Sunday afternoon chill flow kind of thing. Then you're into Yalla, City Don't Cry. Both of those are new tunes. I really enjoy both of them. I think Yalla's freaking brilliant. I actually thought that at first this was supposed to be kind of a weird take on Immigrant Song, like a really weird take on Immigrant Song, but not at all. Really, really cool kind of song, man. Like you just got to kind of check it out. Just got that vibe to it, man. City Don't Cry. Just a good rock tune, man. City Don't Cry sounds like it could have been a Lost Zeppelin song. It really does. Really good tune. Then you're into Since I've Been Loving You, Battle of Evermore. And see, this is the problem is, as we're going through these songs, you'll notice that they're all just kind of the slower kind of tunes, man. Like, Cool, awesome mix of stuff. Not cool, awesome mix of stuff. All right, Battle of Evermore, which is definitely changed up a little bit. Since I've been Loving You is pretty close-ish to this original. Then you're in a Wonderful One, which I believe is a new tune. And That's the Way, I believe, is also a new tune. I could be wrong on those. Definitely don't remember them as Zeppelin tunes. And both of those are really enjoyable tunes as well. I don't know if I enjoy them quite as much as Yala and City Don't Cry, but they're both really enjoyable. Then we're in a Gallows Pole, which this one's got some vibe to it and whatnot, which is really kind of nice to have at this point. Then you're into Four Sticks, which is cool. That's got some good up tempo. And then they finish out with Kashmir. Now, I've already mentioned how, these songs have been kind of redone a little bit. They're not all entirely like the originals on the album. Some of it's the instruments have been changed out. Some of it is the instrumentation itself has been changed out. The music's been changed out a little. Kashmir is one of the most noticeably different. And it's because they add a lot more actual proper instrumentation into it to make it definitely sound more like it's, old Kashmir. And that's really, really cool. The problem is it takes some of the thunder out of the song that you want to hear and you're used to and whatnot, and kind of dulls it down a little bit. This album is a Sunday afternoon album, a chill, lay back, relaxed, nothing too heavy, you give it a little up tempo, a lot more kind of acousticy, a lot more vibey, but not heavy, not powerful, not straight ahead. I think this was a huge mistake for them to get, or for Jimmy Page to go after this album. I think he had something really good going with this album. I think he should have kept going with this album. I think he should have ignored the critics. I think the label should have ignored the critics. And I think they should have went out and toured the hell out of this album. And I think when they went out and toured this album, I don't think they should have toured it as, two huge superstars going out there with monstrous egos. I think they should have toured this album as starving artists, where they basically went out there and they played this whole album live. Maybe not the whole thing front to back live, but definitely the whole album live. And maybe for encores, throw in one Zeppelin song and one Whitesnake song. That's it. I think that would have been the way to go, and I think this could have been so much better, and I think falling back on this was a huge mistake, and I really think that it set back Jimmy Page huge. When it comes to Led Zeppelin, I'm always going to be of the mind that Robert Plant was the problem with the band after Bonham passed away. And the reason why I say that is if you look at a lot of the music that Jimmy Page started along the way, because I know he had a few different bands along the way, and I can't remember the name of one of the other ones I know I gotta go pick up. But he had a few different bands along the way, and each one did really well in its own unique way and wrote some really great albums, some really good rock albums. But the second he gets back to Zeppelin, they don't do anything really, and whereas Robert Plant, most of the stuff he was releasing at the time, like that I heard and whatnot, it was always mellower stuff, more chilled out, laid back kind of stuff. And I know from the Celebration Day album that he likes to take his cheap shots at the excessive amount of soloing, as he views it, that Page likes to use. I don't think I agree with that, but hey. So yeah, honestly, I really wish that Page and Coverdale would have kept going instead of going back to this. I think this was a mistake. And because of how much of a mistake I think this was, I don't know if I'll ever get around to picking up Walking into Clarksdale or not. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, folks, I bought this one for $4 used. Don't get me wrong. As much as I've talked down about this album, it's not a bad album. In fact, as far as Sunday afternoon albums go, this is an incredible album. And when I say a Sunday afternoon album, I'm talking like, Christaberg, Jewel, Crash Test Dummies, acoustic kind of bands that are just kind of mellow, chilled out, something you just put on in the afternoon and enjoy it, And this is a very enjoyable album. I actually do very much enjoy listening to it. But compared to this, come on, man, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. All right, folks. Let me know what you think. Am I being too hard on this album? Am I not being hard enough? Should I check out Walking into Clarksdale? Should I just keep ignoring? Excuse me. Should I keep ignoring it? Let me know. That's what the comment section is for down below. Otherwise, check out the links that are on your way down through the comments. Like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. Peace.